welcome to the bit of the video where I just make sure everything's going okay. Okay, we seem to be moving around. Let's just put that, see if the chat's going. Aha, you made the stream Papier Zeit. Fantastic, well done. I'm glad we got the time zone sorted out. I appreciate that. Fantastic. I'll just double check, see if we've got everything coming up, and then we'll make a start. Fantastic. That's good. Okay, seems like everything's running. Hello. Amazing. Let me just pop out the chat so I can see it a bit easier. Fantastic. Okay, so I'll just make a start. If you've got any questions in chat, feel free to pop it in. I'll do my best to remember to check it, but I'll just go along and see how we get on. Paper time, yeah. Okay, so I'm Chris, and this is my game Realm of the Empress. It's a single-player fantasy adventure board game where you explore a large open area, in this case Port Ovis, and you do quests, you learn skills and upgrade them, and you buy weapons and armor and progress your character in that way. In this video series, I'm going to be doing a full playthrough of the game. Each video is going to be about an hour long, and the last playthrough I did was 60 hours, so the whole series should be at least that many videos. I'm going to be live Monday to Thursday, 7 PM UK time, every week for the next few months. So please leave a comment, write in the chat. Any kind of feedback would be really useful. That's why I'm doing this, to try to get as much feedback as possible. Yeah, I'll just do a quick recap and then we'll get into it. So at the beginning of the game, you choose a species. There are 7 in total. I'll just bring this up, see if you can see it. I chose the Fallen Fae here. So they each have a combat bonus and a skill bonus. The Fallen Fae have less health and they can't hold a greatsword, but they've got a good combat bonus. They can turn 1 hit into an initiative per combat, and an initiative is a special kind of attack that can only be countered by another initiative and can give you an extra hit at the beginning of combat before it really starts. And then we start off with sneaking at level 1. A couple of videos ago I showed how sneaking worked, so if you want to check that out, we might do some sneaking in today's video as well. We'll see how we get on with time and everything. I've been developing the game for about a year, maybe a little bit over a year now. I've been taking inspiration from things like Skyrim and Zelda video games, single player video games really. I've wanted to try to sort of emulate the experience of doing a video game, but without needing to go on a computer. Like, I spend a lot of my time just looking at screens, and I'm sure a lot of people do as well. So I was trying to find an experience where you can really get stuck into a game without the screen, but also completely on your own. You can just play one character and kind of casually as well. Like, you don't have to worry too much about, you know, controlling more than one character. There are a lot of adventure card games, or campaign games they're called, where you can go on a big adventure, but you have a lot of things to keep track of. So I was trying to minimize that, but at the same time trying to get involved in something. And I also kind of found it interesting just starting to write the game. I've got the ball rolling and eventually turned into this as well. So that's kind of the premise behind it. I also like the fact that the map is done 1 card at a time, so you don't know how far in any direction you can go. So it's that sort of sense of exploration is there at the beginning. Yeah, my pitch in one sentence for people who know about board games is, or just games in general, is like Skyrim meets Seventh Continent. Seventh Continent is a survival game, so it's not exactly the same, but you explore 1 map card at a time. And then Skyrim is that kind of open world you can explore in, but also kind of casual, which I quite liked about it. So that would be my elevator pitch. Skyrim meets Seventh Continent. Yeah, or just a single player fantasy adventure board game. That's something to work on, definitely. There's a UK Games Expo up in Birmingham in the summer, and they do something where you can go try to get sort of pitch in front of publishers, so I'll work on something for that as well. Yeah. So So yeah, there are various different things you can do in the game. I've tried to create sort of little mini games within the game that you can do to keep it exciting, so you're not just doing the same thing. Something I didn't like so much about those big campaign games is that you can go along a map and then you usually read a sort of narrative storybook and it will tell you what is happening. In this game, I wanted it to be you create the story yourself. You move somewhere. No one says, "Oh, there's an old decrepit person here." You find them a bit strange. So I'll just present you with a character. They've got something to say, and you either find them strange or you don't find them strange. So that was another thing I wanted to do. I didn't want there to be a book you have to keep out all the time to sort of refer back to. And I've tried to keep the rules simple to begin with. I've got a quick start guide. It's at the beginning of the stream. Not this one, but at the beginning of the series, I mean. And I've got a video on that too, of setting up the game. So just a bare minimum to keep you started. And then once you're started, if you find something that you are confused about, then you go to the rule book. You can just look it up in an index or in a contents page and find exactly just the bit you need. So if you play like that, you can play quite organically. But I know some people like reading a full rule book as well before they play, which you can do too. So I've created sort of hopefully a sort of ease you in sort of a kind of game. So also what I've made is a tracker for all your quests. So something you can do in something like Skyrim is you have a whole bunch of quests going on at once. I've created a tracker here which has got little boxes underneath that holds all the cards. Each quest is labelled from A to Z, and then they're all sort of at different lengths. So it's like A1, A2, A3, that kind of thing. So you can track 10 quests at once in your tracker. So there is a limit to it, but it's quite a few, and it sort of encourages you to get a few done before you move on to the next, which I think is good. In terms of setting up, I put in here where we were last stream. Which is at the Bakers and card 105, so we can just take that out, put it here. We use a 12-sided die as our character marker, and we've done 12 steps so far. I'll just show you the tracker I've got here. It's all handmade, I'll say that right now, obviously. We know these things can be made a lot nicer later or down the line. So here we're tracking the time of day and night. Day and night, different things can happen, but it's never something to have to worry about too much, although it is a bit more dangerous at night. There's a morality system that you start at 5, and if you do things like pickpocketing or stealing, then you lose a morality even if you are not successful. And the only way of getting morality back is if you do a quest. So you can run out of quests later on in the game. So you do have to sort of be a bit mindful of how much morality you have, but it's not a big problem at the beginning. But the lower you go, the bigger the consequences. Like you won't be able to access shops or talk to other characters or things like that. I've also updated the skills, so we've got a bunch of skills there. We start off at level 1. We've got mining and logging from last video and a couple of videos ago. There's also hunting, cooking. We've got sneaking here, which is also kind of stealing, so that's at level 1 because of our species. We've got lock picking, which we haven't learnt. We've got pickpocketing, which comes with the sneaking, and then there's intimidation and traversal. We've also got ourselves 3 pieces of equipment from the last stream. We're going with a leather build, so you get set bonuses for having the same kind of armour. So you can have 5 pieces equipped all at once. Got head, body, hands, legs and feet. So we've got cotton, leather and plate. Cotton gives you extra pouch space. Pouch space, it's like kind of like Pokemon, where you can only access that pouch during combat. So you have to make sure you prepare a little bit before you get into combat if you can. So the only thing you can do to get health back is by eating food. So you can buy food and then later you can cook food as well. So cotton gives you the pouch space. Leather gives you poison duration. So we're going to try to do that this time because I did a plate build for my other play test. Plate, you get bleed, which is like an extra little hit. So at the moment I've got 3 pieces of leather armor. So what that does is that also that adds defense to our health. So I'll just quickly, we've got another tracker here for combat. We've got our player tracker, we've got a space for a companion, and then we've got a few spaces for enemy, and then our gold on the end. We've got a couple of other ones that you don't need to worry about right now. So at the moment we've got 4 health, and then with our 3 pieces of armor, they are 3 defense on top of that each, so it's 9 on top of 4. So that means we've got 13 health. So I'll just up us up, or put us up to 13. So we've got a lot more health just by having a few bits of armor. So let's just do that. So 13 health. We've only got 10 gold left. So gold, I thought it'd be quite fun to have real coins for that. So I've got these Chinese fortune coins. Hopefully you can see that. And you keep them in a little pouch, so you can actually physically take it out and use it, which I think is quite fun. Gold is the only currency in the world, yeah, that's it. So everything can be sort of traded in or sold for gold, and then you use the gold to upgrade your armor, essentially, is the main reason. But you also need gold to upgrade your skills. Yeah, it's used for everything. So there's only one type of currency, but again, with the different skills, the sort of mini games you can do, that adds a variety to how you get the gold. So you can do mining, logging, hunting. You can even cook and then sell some of the meat after you've cooked it, because there are various levels you can cook food to, like sort of if it's well cooked meat, or if it's good, great, excellent, or bad and charred, then you get more gold or less gold for it. And then you can also sort of go a less moral route, where you may be stealing and pickpocketing a bit of gold. Each character has gold on them that you can pickpocket. So yeah, I've tried to make it so that you're not, even though you're only getting one resource, which is gold, you can get it in many different ways. There's also fishing, which is a good one, which we should do in a couple of videos time. So I think that is it at the moment. What we're going to do today is, we're at the baker's. We've only got 10 gold, so we need a bit more gold. We've done a quest. So here's our play mat. Similar to the quest tracker, we're tracking all of our equipment and what's in our satchel and quest items here. So in the top left, we've got equipment. Everything is a chit based, so it's kind of like Tetris in a way. You've got sort of real space inventory management. So the axe and pickaxe here, they are 2 squares each, so they take up a bit more space than just, for example, the iron ore is only 1 square. We've got some raw meat. In our pouch, we've got 2 rolls and a sandwich. The rolls on the back tell us how much health that they restore. They do 3 each, and the sandwich gives us 5. So we've got 11 health that we can restore with those. And then we've got our armor here in the equipment area. We've got a few quest items. We've got Rodrin's old axe. So we did a quest where we've got an old axe and it breaks after 8 uses. We've got the same thing with a pickaxe from a different character. And we've also picked up a beeswax order that's from another quest that we can go on. So I picked up, well, you saw I've got six different quests going on at the same time. Only some of them will give you quest items to hold on to, so they're kept there. I've got a space for a dream deck, so there's a main narrative that takes place in the game as well. It takes place in your dreams. You reveal it in order in a deck, and then there's a story that unfolds as you explore too. So it's not just doing completely random things, or just combat, or making gold, or learning skills. We also did a quest where we now can access the inn. There's a map card with the inn on it that gives us access to the inventory, where we can store a lot more items, and we can stack 5 of any item on there. There's a weather system for being okay or rain. There's only small changes if it rains. For instance, animals don't come out, so you can hunt for them. So there's an incentive to learning the hunting skill, but you can't just come across them naturally in the woods when it's raining. And then we got a map of Port Ovis from the innkeeper Merwin. Hopefully you can see that. So this is the only map of the whole area, and it's a hand-drawn one, so it's not 100% accurate, but it's pretty close. There's a rule in this game where if you get lost or don't know what to do, you follow paths and they will always lead to a building. And inside the buildings, there are always going to be characters, and those characters will always be part of a quest, or might even be starting a quest. So if you get a bit lost or don't know what to do, try to find a path, and then go to a building and have a chat with some characters, see what they have to say. Yeah, the bag of gold. Yeah, they're quite thin, but you can store. I got 100 of them, so the max amount of gold at the moment in the game is 100, which is quite low, I know, but the idea is that you would expand the game world with different games maybe every year, so there would be that sort of progression of things costing more money as you go. So say next year there'd be, instead of it being Port Ovis, it would be a whole different kind of area, something maybe a bit more interesting, or like I don't know, like a woodland realm, as I'm thinking, sort of where the gnomes live, that kind of idea, like nomadic, not nomadic gnomes, but they're all sort of grouped up into different sort of societies perhaps. And then there'll be a progression from the things you can do in Port Ovis to what you can do in that kind of area. But there will always be reasons to come back to the previous games as well. So they're kind of like expansions, but yeah, ideally quests would also link back to some of the early areas, so it's not always just you go to a new place, you do the new stuff, then you move to the next one. I want to try to make sure it feels like a real sort of area, real world, so you can always come back to different places too. Let's see what you have to say. It would be good if you could even have the avatar and all the items in a real book. Oh, that would be a cool idea. Yeah, so you could flip through the book. Yeah, at the moment what I'm doing is I'm using these kind of, let's see if I can get both of them in shot, these trays. So the idea is the trays would just slide into maybe like a little box, and you could easily just take them out, so it would take up less table space is the idea. But yeah, a book would take up even less. That's definitely a great idea. I think it would have to be kind of modular in some way, so you could upgrade certain bits, or you're thinking about writing into the book. Yeah, or well, maybe yeah, you could just put the chits in or something like that if there's space for it. That's a great idea. So what we'll do is just make a little move now, and yeah, we're at the baker's, and we're going to do a bit of logging, try to get a bit of gold. We might do a bit of mining as well. Yeah, it's easier for game testing just to write that in. But yeah, the way it looks, yeah, can easily be changed. There's an issue at the moment with when you pack up the game. You have to write down how many nodes you've used, because they reset after each day, or after sort of 5 hours of sleep. So if you pack away the game before you start the next day, you'd have to make a note of the nodes that you've used. So I'll probably have another tracker of all the nodes, and maybe you can just put a pin in those like I've done with the other trackers to make sure you don't forget, or just write it down. I've said before that this game is quite good for journaling, because you keep track of the days and the quests and the characters you meet, and there's a large progression from the beginning of the game to the end of the game. So once you've done with sort of 60 hours or a few months of playing, you can look back at how you started, and it'd be quite interesting to see, I think. Yeah, okay, so we'll make a move, and I'll do a bit more of the game, and if you've got any more questions we can go through that as well. So we've done 12 steps. We're going to go south. So I'm using Merwin's map mainly to sort of decide where to go. And because I've got the... well, let me just plug in my computer quickly. I've forgotten to do that. There we go. Yeah, sorry, I didn't plug in my computer, so it was running out of battery. Now we're good. Yeah, so because we've got these quest items of the axe and the pickaxe, and they break after 8 uses, let's use those up and try to get a bit of gold. So we're going to go south from the baker's, and then we're going to go east, and then have a look around there. So we're going to south. We need card 136. I'll just quickly show you what the map cards look like, if you haven't seen them already. So they're mini map cards, because it's quite a large map. In the top left corner is the number of the card, so it's 105, and then we've got numbers for the cards you need if you go north, east, south and west. So we're going to go south, so we're looking at card 136. If you go east to west or west to east, the cards are going to be sequential, so they're quite easy to find, but if you go up and down, north or south, then there'll be a bit of a jump in the cards you need. So we want 136. There's over 300 cards for the map, and they're grouped in groups of 50. So 136 will take 100 to 150. And we look for, in the top left corner, for 136. There we go, we place it next to the other card. So then we're going to go east along this path, and we're going to do a bit of foraging, because we remember that there's a foraging node we haven't used yet. We were going to do it last video, but we didn't. Here it is. So let me show you what that looks like. So there are various nodes scattered about the map that you can come across. This one is what the foraging node. It's a free node. This one, and if you find apple trees, you get 1 apple chip per map card with an apple tree on it. So these are 2 free nodes in the game. Apples you can eat to restore health, and foraging can give you some useful things. But last time we did it, we ran into a bee swarm, and it was a bit iffy. Yeah, it's a big map, so there's a bit of an issue with perhaps keeping it all on the table, but it depends how long your play sessions are and how much you explore. But yeah, we'll see how we go. So I'm going to put a few map cards out, and then I'm going to move the 12-sided die, which is our character marker. So we go from 12, 1, 2, 3. So we move 3 steps, and because we have gone past 12, we're going to move our tracker 1/2 hour. So there's a little bit of tracking for that, but I don't know, I got used to it after I did it for a while. You just keep track with the 12, and every time you come back to 1, and you can do quite a lot of walking before you change the time if you want to. So we'll do a bit of foraging. We've got a chit here for a used node, which is a circle with a line through it, so we'll put that there once we've done it, and we'll use the foraging deck. So it's a card based game, so everything's in decks, and you just find them. It's off screen at the moment, but I've got a big box, you can see it in the first stream, with a whole bunch of different decks that you can search through. So we've got, let me show you here, so they all say foraging on the back. We've got quite a lot of cards, can't remember now, it was about like sort of 30 cards, and I believe with foraging you take 2 cards. So we'll give them a shuffle. So this is quite simple, it's not really a mini game, this is, you just take 2 cards after you shuffle and see what you get. So we get some dead leaves and some worms. So it doesn't sound that exciting, just dead leaves and worms. I'll show you what I don't have drawings for these just yet. Got drawings for some things and not drawings for other things. So this just says dead leaves. I've got a little note there for me, it just says used for poison. So you wouldn't know that, or maybe I could keep it in so you do know it, I don't know at the moment. But so we've got dead leaves and we've got worms. Worms are used for bait for fishing, so that would be quite useful once we learn the fishing skill. You have to learn it first before you can use it. You have to learn every skill before you can use it. So we've got worms, and then we're looking for dead leaves. That would be quite lucky we found both of them there. With fishing, there are also crickets and maggots that you can get, and they each give you different types of fish. Worms are the ones that give you the cheapest, smallest fish, and crickets are sort of the medium-sized fish, and then maggots get you the big fish, big juicy ones that sell for a lot of gold, and you get meat from them as well. So we'll take some dead leaves. So you might not know why you want these to begin with, but like I said, I could include, you know, they are used for poisons if it makes a big difference to people when they play the game. But we'll see how that goes. And we got some worms, so we can do some fishing once we learn the fishing skill. I'm going to put that in my satchel. We got space for 35 things in the satchel, so you don't have to worry too much about sort of filling up too quickly. And then because we've got the inn, we can always go back to the inn to sort of drop off a few items. So that was quite easy, quite simple. That one with the foraging, luckily we didn't come into any contact with a bee swarm, but we have used up that node now, so we put a little marker over it to say that we've used it for the day. So we're going to continue on east, so we need card 139, so we just take that and we'll continue going east, and there's another node. Oh, actually there's quite a lot of nodes. We found an area here that's got a few nodes. There's a whole section there. I'm going to go all the way up to there because that's where the woods start. So let's do that. So we're going to go 4, 5. So 5 steps. Let's do foraging again. Let's see if we can get some decent items. Though we are pushing our luck a little bit, we probably will get a bee swarm. So we'll shuffle up the cards again. Take 2. You don't have to take them from the top. You can take them from anywhere in the deck if you want to. Okay. Ooh, crickets are good. Crickets are better bait for fishing. And we got 1 slug. So the slug is a good one to show you. We need a bottle to catch the slug, or to keep the slug for this one. But it also says you can only get a slug if it's raining. It says rain only. So that's where a mechanic where if it's raining, you can get the slug, but if it's not raining like today, we can't get it. So we just ignore that one, but we do get the crickets. So we'll put the slug and the crickets back in the deck. Keep them there now, and then we'll try to find in our foraging. We're looking for some crickets. So let's have a look for crickets. There are some crickets. Let's have a look. How do you know how far you can see with your chat? Oh, I mean character, yeah. How do you know how far? You can't. That's the whole thing. So basically you can move a bunch of cards and then move your character. But the whole point of the board being cut up like this is so you don't know how far you can go anywhere. On the back of the cards there is a night time. So let me show you that quickly. You can get a lantern which will light up the space so you can see where you're going. Hopefully you can see that. It's very dark on purpose. So the idea is you want a lantern so you can explore and know where you are. But yeah, in terms of just moving the character around and flipping the cards down, you don't know how far to go. You're just using Merwin's map you got to sort of guess how far, but also because it's not easily mapped out, I think you'll remember where things are a bit more, because you've got to put a little bit more effort into thinking where things are. So you know, if you follow these paths, there's a row of houses here that I know from the previous videos I've done. These are our crickets, so I'll put those in. Yeah, so you know there's a row of houses here, and then I know to the west we've got the farm and the wood shop and the smithy, and then I know to the east we've got the tanners and the woods, but then I don't know what's up here. So the idea is it makes you want to explore, hopefully. I mean, it's an exploration and adventure game, so I did have an idea before of the map just being something you reveal but is on a board, but then you know exactly how far north, east, west, south you need to go to get to the edge of the board. And I think there's something in not knowing where the edge is, not knowing where the end of the board is, that makes it interesting and makes it a bit different. So we've done that foraging. We'll put a used node chit, and then we move 1 more, 6, and we'll do another foraging. I think that answers your question. How far do you know? Is that right? Yeah. How do you know how far you can see? So it doesn't really matter how far you can see. You just lay. It's essentially like a fog of war game. I don't know if you played those kind of games where you move and it reveals more of the map. It's a casual game, so you can do it however you like. Really, you can put a map card down, move the character, put a map card down. But there are no instances on the map that trigger something you can't get away from. Like an ambush or some kind. There is at night, but there isn't during the day. So I'm just gonna do these. So you don't have to worry too much about being able to see too far in advance. It doesn't really matter. I usually just do it until I have to go north or south, because that's when you have to get some different cards from the map deck. If you go east and west, it's just all next to each other, so it's really easy. So we'll just do 1 more forage. Slug again, and berries. Berries are quite good. They're going to give me 1 health, which doesn't sound like a lot, but at the beginning I've only got 13 health, so 1 health makes a bit of a difference. The slug we can't do again. We'll get some berries. You can take some berries to the pub, and the lady there will make a berry pie for you if you pay her some money, and you get a lot of health from a berry pie. Right, let's find the berries, and I'll take 1 of those. So I should say the system I've got for the chits, I'm aware, is not the best system in the world. something like a jewelry box kind of situation would be good. I think for chits is what most people usually use. Oh, berries are not going to be in there, they're going to be in the foraging section. No mistake. Let's find berries, there they are. Well, it doesn't take too long to find, usually. And like I said, you're not really normally in a rush. Obviously I'm making videos, so I want to try to show a bit of the game in an hour. But I like the idea that you can play a game, again, similar to like Zelda, Skyrim, where you just sit down, you start doing something simple, and then all of a sudden you realise you spent like 2 hours just doing stuff. And I think I've had some play tests from people where they've had that kind of feeling, where you sit down, you start maybe doing some foraging, and then you find a building, you chat to a character, they give you a quest, and you start moving on to the quest, and then before you know it, you've done a whole bunch of stuff. And yeah, you haven't really made maybe loads of progress, but you've taken on quests, you've started some stuff. You know, like this is a Sunday afternoon, rainy day kind of game where you hopefully just sort of lose track of time, get absorbed in the world, and maybe you just fish for your session. You know, just do some fishing. It takes like an hour maybe to do that, or you do just finish the quest, or you start a new one. You know, that's kind of the idea. It's no pressure. Nothing's forcing you to finish anything too quickly. Anyway, we're moving, because we have done those cards, we do have to do those steps though. So we just finish off our movement. So we're on 6, 7, 8 steps. So on the edge of the woods there, you can just walk straight into the woods, but it takes 2 steps. It takes twice as long in the woods, basically. It takes 2 steps as you walk in. So it's going to be 2 steps into that, and now we need to do a roll every time you're in the woods to see if you encounter an animal. So I've got my rule book here. We go to woods, and it will tell us, so during the day and during the night it's slightly different. You roll an 8-sided die that you can either 1 to 4 you get nothing, a 5 to 6 you encounter a rabbit, which is just take a random card from the rabbit's deck. You either catch one and get a raw meat, or they just evade you and run away. A 7 is a boar, and an 8 is a bear. So a bear is really bad. There's always an option to flee, but they always get 1 hit in before you can flee. So we've got plenty of health now, but we want to make sure we've got at least 5 health probably before, in case we get anything there. So we're going to go in, we're going to hopefully find a couple of logging nodes and do a bit of logging and see how that goes. In principle, you can play this for weeks, continue to play every day, and then just leave it lying there. That is exactly the point. If you've got a dedicated board game table, or if you've got one of those fancy ones, you can put like the bit of wood on over the top and just use it as a normal table, and your game's left underneath. That's exactly it. I mean, it's like I said, the last playthrough I did just on my own was sort of the quickest you could do stuff, and it was about 60 hours. So it depends how quickly you would go through a 60-hour game. It depends how long you play for each session. But yeah, the idea is you could play for weeks and months, perhaps even. And with the tracker, even if you have quite a long gap between each play session, you can just read it again, and you'll be like, oh yeah, that's what happened there. Oh, I need to do that. You know, you can just read through them. It doesn't take very long to do, and that's why I quite like the idea of the sort of drawer system. You just have them in a drawer. You just take them out again, and you can see exactly what's in your satchel, what's in your equipment. You can see exactly what you've got, and you can see exactly what quests you're in the middle of doing. So you've got all the information there in very little space, hopefully. And then all the map cards get packed away, everything can go back into the box. And you've got the trackers for everything else. At the moment, I'm just using pins that go into a homemade kind of, I don't know if you can see that, sort of cardboard with some flat pack stuff in the middle. And hopefully, I don't know, maybe it'll be sort of wood or cardboard and with pegs that you can put inside. It needs to be something that doesn't move very easily. Right, so we're going to go into the woods. So we're going to be in the woods. Let me just see. So on this map card, on the edge of the woods, we are not in the woods yet until we walk actually into it. So hopefully you can see that. The next one is a lot darker. There's a dotted pattern that I used when you're inside the woods. I'll show you that in a minute as well. So put that to the side. So we're in the woods now. We were 8 there, and it's 9, 10 because we move twice as slowly, or half the speed even. So we're on 10, and we now, every time we're in the woods, we roll a 8-sided die, and hope we don't get a bear. And yeah, I think we could probably fight a boar. We are equipped with a short sword, a bronze short sword, so maybe, but we don't really want it if we can avoid it. So let's roll, see what we get. We get a 4. You're probably not going to be able to see these, but you're going to have to just trust me on this. It's a 4. So that's nothing. That's not super exciting, but that's fine. We're going to want to go one more in. Okay, this has got the dots on it. I'll show you what that looks like. So just put like an overlay of a dotted pattern, so you can still sort of see like as if it was the map, but it's darker in the woods, of course. So it's a dotted pattern. There's no node on this one yet though, so that's okay. We haven't found the node yet. So we're on 10, we're on 11 and 12 steps now. We do another roll on the dice. 8. That is bad. That's a bear. Right, I'll show you how combat works then. So we are just going to flee from this because we don't have the power to take on a bear. But I will find the bear and I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, so I have done the artwork for the bear, so it does look a bit more interesting. So again, it's a deck of cards. I'll just show you one. So on the back, we've got the name of the animal and the type. So enemies in this game are either going to be an animal, a creature, or a monster. And each combat encounter is split into rounds. And it tells you here we're going to have 3 rounds because there were 3 rectangles or card shapes on the back. And you reshuffle your cards after 3 rounds. Each round is also have 3 turns. So it sounds maybe a little bit complex, but it's you get into the hang of things once you actually start doing it. So here's the bear. We've got a drawing. I did a drawing for this, for all the animals. So it's a bear, it's an animal, it's got 40 health. We've got 13. So yeah, well, we do have a sneak level. What is our sneak level? What is our sneak level? We roll for our sneak, don't we? We roll for our sneak level 1 6-sided die. So it's got a sneak of 5. So if we roll a 5 or more, we could get a hit in early, but we really just want to run away. And each creature or animal has extra things that they do at the end of rounds. So it says turn there, but it should say round because there are 3 rounds. So if it's lost a certain amount of health, it will do an attack basically. And you get loot from this raw meat and bear hide. The core concept reminds me of a system. Oh yeah, I think it's fun. Yeah, well, I think a lot of people in our generation have become older guys who still like playing games. Like I said, once I started, designing this, I kind of got carried away with it. I was just trying to put in all the things that I like from other board games and video games, and sort of trying to make it work, trying to make it sort of flesh out the world a little bit. Yeah, and also it's fun to sort of figure out how to make a video sort of a mechanic work as a board game with cards in particular. So let's do a bit of combat. We're not going to do a lot of combat. There's the bear. So the bear has a deck of attacks. See if I can show you this. So this one is a bite. You would receive 6 damage. That's a scratch. 8 damage. They've all got misses. You've got misses as well. So we've got scratch and bite, and then they've got an initiative. See if you can see that. The initiative can only be countered by another initiative, and if you get it at the beginning of a round, it acts as like an extra turn before turn 1. And that does 8 damage as well. Luckily, with our combat bonus for our species, we can turn one hit into an initiative, one of our attacks into an initiative. So we give that a shuffle. The enemy always goes first in this game, unless you have a bow which we don't yet, or unless you do a sneak attack first. But you still reveal the enemy card to see what they've got. So yeah, so it's like so combat is like a deck building game. I'll explain it in a minute. So I just shuffled those and put those next to the bear. We've got a weapon of a short sword, so we get a starter deck. So they all say weapon on the back, and the let me show you exactly what I mean. So it will say, these are less finished, these cards. At the top it will say what it is. So this is a bronze short sword, and then it will have an indication that says starter in the top corner as well. You can combine 2 cards per round. So it's only once per round, and this is a parry, so it blocks 2 and it also does a hit for 2 at the same time. So you start with 12 cards. You have to have 4 miss cards in there as well, and you buy the individual cards to make up a full set of 24. You can't sell any cards. You're just making the you're just basically finishing off the deck. But you can buy them in any order you like. So you can buy, there are critical hits that do twice as much damage to any hit you put down, or you can get more defense if you do buy more parries, or you can do harder hits if you get more swings or different hits in there. So it's a deck building game for the combat, and you can tailor your weapons however you like. You can just have, for example, a sword and a shield. I haven't got enough gold yet for a shield, but I'll definitely buy one to give it that much defense. You would add that to your short sword deck. But even if you have 2 weapons or a sword and a shield, you can still only have 24 cards in your deck in total. So it's about which cards do you leave out or swap out for another weapon or a shield that you might have in the other hand. You can have 2 daggers, you can have a great sword, and you can have a bow as well. That gives you an extra hit before combat starts. So there's quite a bit of variation in the combat, I think. And I think it's quite fun to build out your own deck, because you can upgrade your deck with whichever cards you like at the beginning, even if you're always going to get the same amount at the end. So we've shuffled our deck. We've shuffled the bear deck. Hopefully you can see that. The bear will go first. It has, before we flee, we are lucky. We are very lucky. It doesn't miss, so that means we get away scot-free, really. If it had done a hit, we would have had to have used up 1 turn to. I'll tell you what. We'll finish out this round, so you can have a look at how it goes. Good kind of yeah. I think there's an element of strategy and there's an element of tactic. So what you do is you reveal their card. So that's a miss, that's fine. We'll do a round. I think we'll be okay for a round. You take 4 cards for your hand. So we take 4, the top 4, we've shuffled them, and we see what our hand is. We've got 2 misses. We've got 3 misses. We got 3 misses and a stab. Right? So you have to put 1 card down. You have to put 1 card down, or take a healing item, like a food, to heal up, right? And you tally it. You've got to keep track of the damage per turn. So if you think their hit's going to sort of kill you next turn, you eat some food beforehand. So we've done really badly, but luckily they did a miss there. So we're going to drop one of our misses. We can combine 2 cards once per round, so we'll try to remember that for like a big hit. So we drop our miss, but you always have 4 cards in your hand, so we pick up 1 more, which is another stab. So we could combine our 2 stabs to do 4 damage, but now it's around turn 2, and it's done a bite. It's going to do 6 damage to us. How much health have we got? We've got 13. It's got 40. We're never going to win, but we'll just do 1 round just to go through it. So it's doing 6 damage to us. We're just going to have to take that. How much have we got? We've got 13 health. So we can take that's fine. Or we could choose to eat a roll or our sandwich. We've got rolls do 3, I think it was. Yeah, 3 and 5 health. They replenish, so we can eat one of those. So I can put my 2 stabs and do 4 damage in total, but you only ever get 1 card back. So you want to make sure you kind of, when you're combining cards, that's dependent on which weapon you have, not your species or anything like that. If you combine cards, you want to make sure you're doing it for the best reason, basically. So I can just drop a miss and hope I get maybe something better to do a bigger bit of damage, or I can put the 2 stabs together. I'm going to put the 2 stabs together, and then I only pick up 1 card. Hopefully, I was just about to say hopefully it's not a miss. You only get 4 misses. I've picked up all 4 misses. Unbelievable. Turn 3, it's doing a scratch, which does 8. So 6 plus 8 is 12, 13, 14. So that would kill us. So I'm not going to do... I can't do anything. They're only misses anyway. It's actually quite helpful. So I'm just going to put that down. I'm going to eat my roll, probably, because that would still give me 3 health. So I'm eating my roll. I take the chit, put that there. And that is the end of round 1. So you don't reshuffle them. On the back there are 3 cards. That means you only reshuffle after 3 rounds. And so those go in the discard over there, and then yours will go in the discard. You would tally up the and then you go for the next round doing the same thing again. You tally up your hits as you go, and eventually wear down the bear. So for this though, that's just 1 round out of 3. They're all the same, 3 turns in any round. So luckily we didn't die, but because we had the roll. So now we'll put the bear away. We're fleeing the bear, but we might come back again. That might come back to bite us, no pun intended, because we haven't even found a node yet. So yeah, we're taking, what was it, 14 damage, and then we've eaten 3, so we're down to 2 health. Oh my god, that's not good. 2 health we're down to, so I'm a bit scared, but we've still got rolls. Actually, yeah, right, so we're out of combat, so I'm just going to eat the other roll and the sandwich as well. You can't heal up past your combined defense and health, so I wouldn't be able to heal up past 5 plus 3, 6, 9, 14. 14 is my max. So I've got 2 health. I'm going to eat the other roll, which is going to be 5, and then the sandwich is going to be 5, so 10. So I've now got 10 health in total. Let's do that. Okay, so 10 health left. That's okay. We have run away. I'm not going to do that again. Hopefully we don't get another bear. I'm going to put my misses back very randomly into my weapon deck. So you're also the master of your own fate a little bit, because you will always be shuffling up your cards, so you've only got yourself to blame if you get 4 misses like I did in the first round. But the good news from that is you know that what's left in your deck is only going to be hits and parries and things like that. So yeah, there's a bit of strategy. I would say I'll call it light strategy, but it is there. Okay, I've seen some misses. I have to go. No problem. Thanks very much for joining me. I really appreciate that. Monday to Thursday, 7 PM. Hopefully I'll see you another day. Thanks very much for joining. See you later. So we're going to continue on, and we're going to go east, and we find a node on this one. So we're going to do a bit of logging. So that we're at 12, so we're going to 2 steps. 2. So we're at 2 now. That means another half hour on our time tracker. We've now got 5 hours left of the day. But it goes quite quickly, slowly when you're walking around. Mining, as we saw in the last video, goes through time a lot quicker. Okay, so we're going to do some logging. So we'll get the logging deck. So again, we take all the level 1 loggings. Okay, those are 2, 3, 4, 5. Put those back. And we give them a little shuffle. So hopefully we get a few more logs. I'm going to go south and hope there's another one down there. So we pick 1. Is it 1 for logging? We just check the rules. 1 random card, yeah. So 1 random card from anywhere. Let's try 1 oak is what we want. It's the best one. There's yew, walnut and oak. U. Fantastic. It's only worth 1 gold. But that's okay. Let's find a U log chit. These are our used ones. So a U, let's get it put in there. U log, that's going to go in our satchel. And then that will go back into the deck. And then we'll use our used chit. Goes there. Right, we're going to go south. Ah, we didn't do a roll for moving, did we? We roll for move. 4 is nothing. Okay, I forgot to do that. It is possible to forget these things, but not the end of the world. So 155 is what we want if we're going south. Now I can see some nodes on these, so that's going to be useful. 155. I've had a quick peek at these so I know where some nodes are. So that's a bit cheating, but that's fine. Not really cheating, you're not playing against anyone, so it doesn't matter. So we're going south, so that is going to be 2, 3, 4, and then we roll 1. That's fine. Then we're going to move east 1, 5, 4. Come round here. Move that out of the way. 1, 5, 4. And we're going to move 2, 4, 5, 6. So we can only do 3 nodes because we've only got 3 left on our old axe. So let's hope for an oak. Walnut. Okay, well, better than a log, better than a yew. So you know, maybe the next one will be an oak. There's a walnut, we'll take one of those. They're worth 2 golds. We've got 3 gold so far from this. And we spent quite a lot of gold on the rolls and sandwich, so we're not doing super well, really. But that's okay. Right. We use that. We're going to go east 1 more. Around we go. 7, 8. We roll for the animal. 1, no good. Logging, okay, hope for oak. Hope for the oak. Walnut, okay, fine. Walnut's okay, it's fine. We'll maybe do some mining, we've got time for that. Let's use a used node, chip down. Oh, there's a walnut, wasn't it? Let's take that before I forget. Walnut. 2 walnuts and a yew. We'll put those back. Now we've got to get out of the woods as quickly as possible. I think, how much health? 10 health. We wouldn't even stand up against the boar, I don't think. Maybe get 1 hit in. We've got no health rejuvenation. That's not good. Okay, so we're going to try to come out. I think we'll come out quicker if we go out straight from here. So we're 8, 9, 10. Roll. Oh, it's an 8 again. No way, it's an 8. Okay, it's a bear. It's a bear again. We've got 10 health. Okay, is that the bear? Where did we put the bear? There it is. It's the bear again. Okay, it's not good. I think I'm going to roll to try to sneak. I think, yeah, if you roll the sneak, you can flee before it does its first. If you just sort of sneaking past it, that makes sense. There's no reason not to do that. It's 1 6-sided die. So there. Tell you what, we can. Let's roll first. I was going to say we could reveal it first anyway, but let's roll. 5 or 6, and we've sneaked past it. It's a 1. We did not sneak past it. We're not quite crafty enough against this bear. Right, we'll reveal the bear. Or it's a scratch, it's doing 8 damage. If I get a parry, then I can reduce that by 2. Because I can... Well, that doesn't matter. Hopefully if I get 2 parries, that'll be even better. Right, let's see what I get for my hand. 1, 2, 3, 4. Parry, no. Yes, one. Okay, we've got 1 parry. So we can reduce that by 2. And then we run off. We have fleed. So we take 6 damage. Okay, we have 6 damage and we run off. Scared. We're very small. Let's put that randomly in there. Put the bear back. Oh, we keep getting bears. Right, so we're now down from 10 to 4. Great. We've got 4 health. We need, we need to get out of the woods. 10, 11, 12. Yeah. Roll the 8-sided dice. 5. What is a 5? It's a rabbit. Ooh, that's quite good, but maybe if we catch the rabbit, we can get some raw meat which we can cook later. So the rabbit is just pick a random card like the logging. Evasion. I'll show you. I don't think I showed this one before because we caught it last time. This is what an evading rabbit looks like. Is that gonna? Hopefully that focuses. It just says evasion received nothing, so unfortunate. Okay. Right. What do we need? 1, 5, 6. So that's still in the woods. 1, 2. So it's another half an hour. And then we roll our 8-sided die. 2. It's fine. Then it's 1, 5, 7. 1, 5, 7. We're finally coming out of the woods. Let me show you that. So this is a periphery card, so we're coming out, so we still need to roll if you're coming in or out. So that's still 2 steps. That's 4. Where's the 4? There it is. And then we still roll 4. That's still nothing. Okay, we're out of the woods. Literally. That is good. Let's put that over there. Okay, so we want to go 1, 5, 8. And I think we had a quest going on. 5. Let's have a look at the quests, what they were. Refer back to our ongoing quests. I think we look at who Gallad's quest. So he's got the earrings quest we're still doing. Probably don't need Ina's one anymore. We'll get rid of that after this. Rodrin has the old house up somewhere behind. Who is it? Behind the farm. That's quite far away. So Gallad's one, he says head east past the old land, past the inn. Yes. Further past the tannery. Yes, we're past the tannery. Go north up from the Duskwood. So I'm hoping this is the Duskwood. Let me show you on Merwin's map. So we're right over in the east on those woods, eastwards, which I'm guessing is called the Duskwood here, because it's east of the Tanners. So we go north straight up. We're trying to see if we can find GA. So let's just go up here. So 6, 7. 6, 7. And then we want card 99. Put these back. Card 99. It's going to be right at the end, isn't it? Yes, it is. Card 99. Then this is a good example of a bush being a barrier. So bushes are barriers. You can't swim and you can't go up and down cliff faces in this game. So that dark splodge is a bush. There are some sheep on the one side of it, and because the bush goes all the way across the card, you can't go through the bush, so you wouldn't be able to go north. You would actually only be able to go east, south or west. You could go north if you're already inside, so that's why the 82 is still there. If you went in and then got onto this card, you could then go north, but we're on this side of the bush, so you do have to kind of imagine which side you are on and where you are on the map a little bit. So because we're on this side, we can only go east or west or back south. We're already on south, so we go 8, then we want 98. Okay, and then are we going to go north from there? We could go north from there as well. 83. 83. Here's another example of where we can't go because there's a cliff face here. So hopefully you can see that. We're on the southern end. There's a bush to the left, to the west, and then there's a big cliff face right in front, so we can't go north unless we're on the top of the cliff. But we can go a little bit further north, so that's okay. We go up there, but then we need to go west. No, east. 84. And we can go east again to 85. This one's got some stones on it, which might mean there's some mining somewhere. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 steps. Let's go. Should we go one more east? 86. No. Yes. Let's go one more east. It doesn't really help us. 12, 1, but we have done another half hour of walking. Let's do that on the tracker. So we've got 4 hours left in the day of day 1. Get a lot done in a day if you're just walking around, but the mining and there's some other skills like fishing that will really blast through the time. How are we doing for time? Oh, we're basically done as well. I'll just see if there's a bit of mining we can do and then we'll stop. So 35 we need. Let's have a look at 35. Yeah, 1 to 50. There's some rocks here, so I'm sure there'll be some mining. I just have to find it. 30. Aha! 35. Yeah, I thought so. There is a mining node. Let's do a bit of mining. There are some other mining nodes. I just had a sneak peek at the map cards. 1. There's 2. There it is. 2. Right, we'll do a bit of mining, just so we get a bit more done in this video. So again, we've got our big mining deck. Most of it's level 1, so just skip down to the end to find level 2, which we're not at yet. Put those back. Give these all a big shuffle, as best shuffle as we can. So recap on the mining if you didn't watch yesterday's video, video 4. Each card you use is half an hour. Each card you put down is half an hour. You follow the arrows, collecting the resources if they're written on the cards, and some cards have stop written on them, which means you have to stop and that node has been used. So what you want to get is some iron ore. Ideally, we got quite a lot of iron ore before, but we had to give it to gathered as part of this quest. So we've got rock. So I'll just show you what the card looks like. So you can collect rock. You do need it later, but we don't need it at the beginning, so I'm not going to bother getting the chips for this. You can see that the arrows go north to south, so that means the next card has to be above or below this card. So I wonder, we've got a bit of space. Can we do it there? How far? Yes, do it there. So we're going to go up from this one. I just stop straight away. There I am. Right, so I'll show you what the stop card looks like. We've got copper ore, which is only worth 3 gold. Iron ore was worth 5, I think, so that would have been better. But it says stop, so we have to stop. But that's 2 cards, which is 1 hour. We don't have loads of time left. I don't want to be caught out at night. We'll have a think about that. 1, 2, we've got 3 hours left. I have to think about that now, really. Because we got... How long is it? We'll kind of think how long it'll take to get back again. We just won west of that, aren't we? So it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3. So it would take 2.5 hours, but the last night we only needed 1 or a half hour, probably be okay. Right, let's find some copper ore if we can. There's iron ore. There's copper ore with the iron ore. Fantastic. Right, let's take a copper. There it is. Put that in our satchel. Okay, and we've used the node, so we'll put that on it. We're going to go east 34, which does. So this is another interesting map card. So not only does it have the mining node on it, but there is a hole. If you go into, so the hole acts like a building. So you go into the building's deck to have a look at what is inside that hole. So I'll do that. So we're on card 34. I'll just put it down and move me. So with 3 steps. Go to the building's deck. What is it? 34. So we got 8 at the top, 22, 34. So this is an introduction to another type of system. Sorry. This is a cavern. Cavern 1. So there's some rules here. I'll read them out if you can't read them. So it says to enter requires 1 lantern equipped, 1 oil for the lantern, and 1 rope to leave. Discard the oil and rope after exiting. So going into the cavern once uses up 1 oil and 1 rope, and you have to have a lantern to go in. To set up, take 10 cards from the cavern's straights deck and take 10 cards from the cavern's corners deck. Shuffle them all together, then place them down randomly. You may choose how to arrange them. Roll 1d6, a 6-sided die for movement. So this is a randomized cavern system. There were 3. This is the easiest one because there are only 10 cards. There's a medium one with 20 cards and there's another one with 30, I think. So you can have a really long cavern or a shorter cavern, and they're filled with hazards and creatures, different types of creatures than you get. They're not animals, they're sort of more scary creatures you can get. And you roll for each movement. You're on a grid, so you roll a d6, so it's a random where you end up. So if you hit a hazard or if you hit a creature. We're not going to go in there now. We're under leveled. That's something to do a bit later on when we've got a bit more power. I mean, we've only got 4 health because we've been attacked by 2 bears, or the same bear twice, depending on what you think. I'm going to do a bit more mining, just hopefully see if we can get something decent, and then we'll stop because we're at an hour now. Let me just do this quickly. So mining, stop straight away. Fantastic. That's not what we wanted. 2 cassiterite. It's worth 4 gold. It's better than nothing. We'll take 2 of those. 2 cassiterite. Really would like iron ore. We've got loads of iron ore the last time we did it. I'm going to get east again to 33, and this will be the last mining node. So we're on 4 steps, and we'll do 1 more mining. Come on, give us some iron ore. 2 iron ore will be great. Oh, that was half an hour as well. Let's just move that because there's only 1 card. Okay, so that's the other thing, is it's going to take over half an hour to get back, but we'll be okay. We're just leaving 1, so we can do a maximum of 1, 2, 3 cards. Maximum 3 cards. 1 is a rock, not what we want. 2 is a stop, 2 cassiterite. It's not great. We did not get much ore. 2 cassiterite, and that's 2 half hours. So 1, 2. We're now got an hour and a half left of the day. We'll leave that. 2 cassiterite. Get a bit of gold for that. It's not too bad. We've still got 1 iron ore left. We'll have to go to Galleds to sell it all. I'll just show our satchel is filling up though, as you can see there in the top in the middle. it is filling up a bit. We've got yew logs, walnut logs. We can sell those at the wood shop. So we can go, if we look at Merwin's map, we go all the way to the west for the next stream. Go sell these things at the smithy and the wood shop. Well, actually, what we're going to do next stream is sleep and hopefully have a dream, and I'll show you what the sort of main narrative of the game is. Now, we have done 3 mining. We don't need to take that one out. Let's put the consistency right back and the ore back. So we've used up our axe and our pickaxe now because they had 8 uses. We used 5 each for the quest, and now we've done 3 each. So we're losing. They have broken. Rodrin's axe and Galled's pickaxe has now been broken. I'll show you. We had some little markers in the bottom so you could keep track of it if you wanted to. These have now been broken. We can't do any more mining or logging. Let's put the mining cards back. So yeah, what we want to do is buy a pickaxe or an axe. If we get an axe, then I think we can get some quite good logs, but there's a risk of being attacked by animals, which isn't great. We don't have much money. Hopefully we get some money from this. Or we can choose maybe to buy a pickaxe. I think they cost 20 gold each. We'll see how we get on with that. Right, I'm just going to show you how to pack up then. Again, with the nodes, it's something to remember. Or I will at some point make a tracker with all the nodes, and you can just stick a pin in them, or like a peg in it, like we do with the other ones, and that'll keep track of all the nodes that are used every day. So that's probably the easiest way, because I could put them all together then. So again, when we're packing up, east to west is all sequential, so they're usually the easy ones to do. So we're going to start off with these two, 34 and 35. And we're on 33, so that's good. So they can all go there. And then we want 80s. So we'll do the next one. So let's have a look. 83 to 86. We've got 98 and 99, 105, and we've got these big ones here. So we've got 95. So remember, the deck is separated. It says 40. It says not there. 43, 44, 45, 46, 42, 41. All the way up to 136, and these ones we've got 153 up, so they all should be, yeah, good. Okay, so we want 83, 82, 83, yeah, to 86, then 98 and 99, then we want 100 to 150. So you want 105, yep, 136, and that should take us up to 46, yeah. Then we want 151 to 200, so 153 to 158, very good. So that's it, doesn't take too long to pack everything up. That's all done. We've got our last card. So again, what we can do, we've got 4 steps and the card we're on, and we can actually, we know we've done that node, so I will actually leave the chit on that node just as a reminder. So that's everything there, keep it together, and there we go, all done. So yeah, tomorrow we'll be sleeping and having a dream, and that'll show something else, and then we'll do some selling of some items and do some more questing. So thanks very much for joining, really appreciate it. Any comments would be great, and see you tomorrow. Thanks very much.